She Got Sports posted a video on Brock Purdy, man. Hey, tell me, for all my fellas out there, is your girl liking sports or liking the same sport that you like? Is that a prerequisite for relationship? One of my partners said if she don't like football, I'm not rocking with her. And I personally feel like that's the most immature statement I've ever heard in my life. But it's crazy because there's actually grown-ass men that really believe that really stand on that. They say that and act like they standing on business. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, the business you standing on is going to fail. But She Got Sports. She obviously
once he finished college, every NFL team passed on drafting him multiple times. But now, Brock Purdy is about to play in the Super Bowl, less than 2 years after being the very last pick of the draft. So how did he get here? And what was the reason he wasn't on a lot of scouts' radar?
What's the better story? Mr. Irrelevant, last pick of the draft, becoming Super Bowl champion in 2 years, or Patrick Mahomes winning his third Super Bowl, eighth consecutive title or a conference championship, and possibly on the path to becoming the greatest quarterback ever over Tom Brady? I don't know. Maybe longevity-wise, it's Patrick's story. But right now, if Mr. Irrelevant wins, it gives the world hope. He's the story of hope, right? The story of hope, relentlessness, opportunity meets preparation, counted me out, put me down, and I rose to the occasion. They sent me to the woods, or the forest, and I came out. They sent me to the wolves, I came out the leader. That's what it is. They sent me to the wolves, I came out the leader. You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to see that story, but I would also like to see the story of Patrick Mahomes. Y'all tell me in the comments, which would be a better story? What's the better storyline?
Because there was something specific that made a lot of NFL teams pass on drafting him. Well, we're about to find out, because this is what they aren't telling you about the rise of Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was born in Arizona and attended Perry High School. There, he became
That's why they passed on him. He was born and raised in dry-ass, hot-ass Arizona. Desert. Straight desert. Yeah, Nick Vargas, I hope you watching this. That's my boy. That's my dog. Arizona native. He loved Arizona to death. And it's crazy. I don't understand why. It's dry and hot. Ain't nothing there to do neither.
Varsity starting quarterback his sophomore year. According to 247 Sports, the division his high school played in was the 6th toughest in the whole entire country. Despite the stiff competition, Purdy led his school to the state championship game in both his junior and senior seasons. And during his final year of high school, he was named the Gatorade Football Player of the Year for the state of Arizona after recording over 5,500 yards from scrimmage and 57 touchdowns. Purdy's outstanding numbers were anything but a surprise to his high school coach Preston Jones, who described his former QB as a 45-year-old man who happened to be in high school because of the intensity and focus he attacked every day with. By the end of his high school career, Purdy was a 3-star recruit with offers from UCF, Iowa State, Boise State, Texas A&M, and Alabama. But the Bama offer wasn't what it seemed.
Spectrum Business is made to work the way small business works. Made to deliver award-winning security technology. Made to connect and protect every device. And made to keep your business network your business. Spectrum Business, made to work.
File 100% free with TurboTax-free edition.
Listen, I thought that was going to be the only one. I was going to be patient. I wasn't going to say nothing. Y'all know I'm notorious cussing out commercials.
See how at TurboTax.com.
2 in a row. Non-skippables. What are we
When
doing?
Brock went down to Tuscaloosa for a visit, Nick Saban told him,
"You making money, huh? You making money, huh? She Got Sports. Yeah,
below average in height. Your arm strength is whatever. Your accuracy is average." But as soon as Saban said that, Brock knew the Crimson Tide coach didn't know who he was, because accuracy was one of his biggest strengths. His high school coach remembers Brock coming back from that visit and saying, "I want to go somewhere and try to kick his ass." A few weeks after his disastrous visit at Alabama, Purdy committed to Iowa State. Heading into his first collegiate...
You see, now what if he actually did know who he was? And what if Brock Purdy believed he was accurate or the most accurate, whatever? But in Nick Saban's eyes, from his analysis, one of the most winningest coaches in the history of the sport in college football, says that you weren't accurate, but I'm still going to give you an offer because I like your intangibles. I like your mindset. I like the fact that you're a 45-year-old man, you're disciplined, but you're in a teenage body, things in that nature. And I feel like we can help you grow. We can help you matriculate into an outstanding quarterback. So maybe he wasn't as mature as we thought when he was younger. It's a little self-absorbed, maybe. And then when somebody has some real criticism for you, you took it as offensive. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the real truth. There's three sides to every story. The truth, there's three sides to every story. Your side, the other person's side, and the truth.
Season, Brock was listed as the team's third-string quarterback, but when starter Kyle Kemp got injured during the first game of the season and his backup Zed Noland played poorly in a few games, Purdy got his chance. So during an October matchup with number 12 Oklahoma State, Purdy was taken off the bench and put into the game during the first quarter. As soon as he touched the field, Brock made an...
I will say there's a little consistent narrative in his career so far about being prepared. When opportunity, see, people call it luck, but luck is only the result of opportunity and preparation when they meet. That's luck. And it seems like every time he got the opportunity, he was prepared for the moment. Iowa State, quarterback goes down, he's prepared, and I'm guessing he seizes the moment. 49ers, quarterback goes down, he's ready, he's prepared, he seizes the moment. Something to be said about a man like that. Something to be said.
Immediate impact, completing 18 of his 23 passes for 318 yards, 5 total touchdowns, and 84 rushing yards, which led Iowa State to the upset win. After that game, it was clear Brock Purdy was the answer for the Cyclones at quarterback. 2019, Brock's sophomore season was set to be his...
Hey, that mullet, is that a mullet? That mullet ain't the answer, Playboy. That mullet ain't it. No. That ain't it. That's not the answer. That's not the answer, Sway. It's not the answer.
First as the Cyclones' full-time starting quarterback. The team finished the year with a 7-6 record, but Purdy had good stats, completing 65% of his passes for 3,000.
I hate that when they talk about quarterbacks. It's like, yeah, your team was average, but you played well. If you're the quarterback and your team was average, it don't matter how well you played. You are also average. Period. You're measured off wins and losses. You're the leader of that team. When we lose, it's on you. When we win, it's on you. They've been telling us that since Pee Wee football, man. Quarterback gets the most praise and the most blame. Wins and losses is what we focused on in this department over here. Ask Lamar Jackson. Ask Lamar how he's judged after losing that game. But he played well all season. He's going to get an MVP. Ask him if he even cares that he got the MVP. Where would he rather be? Yeah, where would he rather be, huh?
900 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. He also rushed for 8 scores, which helped him break the 41-year-old school record for total touchdowns scored in a season. Despite Brock not having to throw the ball as much in 2020 thanks to the emergence of Breece Hall, the Cyclones finished the season with an improved record of 9-3.
There you go.
Tied the 2000 season for the best record in school history. After wins versus number 18 ranked Oklahoma and number 17 Texas, Iowa State was ranked 6th in the college football playoff poll heading into the Big 12 championship game. But in the biggest matchup of the year, Purdy played one of his worst games of the season.
Here's one thing you need to do before you buy anything online.
Hey, that was a good ad place. Left me on a cliffhanger.
Until you watch this first.
Because I'm definitely going to keep watching this video to see what you got to say.
Sweetest deals online when you shop
right now.
He threw for 322.
I be noticing these YouTube tricks now. I'm getting hip to the game, player.
Yards and a touchdown, but 3 interceptions. Worst games of the season. He threw for 322 yards and a touchdown, but 3 interceptions, including this one, down 7 with just over a minute left on a possible game-tying drive. After the tough loss, Purdy did bounce back in the team's victory versus number 25 Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl, completing 69% of his passes, noise, for 156 yards, 1 passing, and 1 rushing touchdown. The team ended the season ranked 9th in the AP poll, the highest they had ever been to close a season. Expectations were high for the Cyclones entering 2021. The team was ranked 7th in the nation heading into the season, the highest they've ever been ranked before week 1. But after losses versus number 10 Iowa and an unranked Baylor squad, Iowa State was unranked before the month of September was even over. The Cyclones were still unranked heading into a late October matchup with number 8 ranked Oklahoma State. But in that one, Purdy completed 81% of his passes for 307 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions, which propelled his team to a huge upset victory. After the big win, the team was ranked again, this time 22nd in the nation. But just 1 week after their big upset victory, the Cyclones lost to an unranked West Virginia team. Iowa State finished the year with a disappointing 7-6 record. Despite the team's subpar performance, Purdy completed a career-high 71% of his passes for 3,100 yards.
Wins and losses. Wins and losses. Wins and losses.
20 total touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. We really don't talk about how much of an impact Brock Purdy had on that Iowa State football program enough. In his 4 years there, the team had 4 consecutive winning seasons for the first time since 1923 to 1927. Yeah, he literally helped the team do something they hadn't done in nearly a century. He also broke 32 school records in his time there and was a 3-time All-Big 12 quarterback selection. After his senior season, Brock declared for the 2022 NFL Draft. But despite a historic college career, scouts weren't interested in the Cyclones QB. Why, you may ask? Well, Brock didn't have that prototypical QB size. He was 6 feet tall and weighed in at just 212 pounds. At the NFL Combine, he didn't do anything to improve his draft stock either. He ran a 4.84 40-yard dash, the 4th slowest time a QB ran, and overall did not show great athleticism in the drills. One scout wrote, quote, "Did not test well, limited athlete that has maxed out body, very mature and experienced."
When you think about it though, y'all gonna hit me for saying this. He is exactly what Cam said. He's a game manager. And okay, in that 9-2 season that they had at Iowa, how many draft picks came out of that class? And how many draft picks did they come out of that 2021 season? I would like to say, I'm going to go on the limb and say you had more draft picks in that season of 9-2 than you did in that season of 7-6 right after that in 2021. Meaning that he had more pieces around him, more game changers around him to work with. And it eased the pressure off of him, and he made smart decisions with the football that allowed them not to lose, but didn't take them over the hump to win. It wasn't because of him that they won. It was necessarily him not losing the game for them and getting it to the playmakers and allowing them to do their thing, right? The same thing is happening at San Francisco. The right players around the piece, because I guarantee if he would have went to the Panthers, he would have had the same outcome as Bryce Young. The same outcome. Which means he's not a game changer. So the evaluation maybe he's not the last pick of the draft, but is he that guy? Not yet. Not yet. I will say last game though, against them Lions, he showed something. Them glimpses of him running around and making those plays on 3rd down and long. He's showing us something. It's development, which is a lost art in the NFL these days. The days of development. Quarterback development. I mean, it's lost in the music industry. Artist development. Some people just want it now, right? Can he develop into a game changer? Yes. But is he a game manager now? And has he always been a game manager? Probably so. Probably so, which is why you see it reflected in that record at Iowa State. I guarantee there was probably more draft picks in that 9-2 season than there was in that 7-6 season the following year. More people around him that could change the game. So all he had to do was just eliminate mistakes, which is something to be said for a quarterback. I'd love to have a guy like that too, and just build pieces around him. Probably don't have to pay him that much either. I'll pay him a decent amount, but I ain't gonna pay him game-changing amount. And then we can get a whole bunch of game changers around you because I'm not blowing the bank up trying to pay you. Something to be said about that. It might make a beautiful situation. A beautiful situation. But let's not be emotional with our analysis. Let's be analytical, guys. Let's be thoughtful. You know, this is the Christian Baker side of YouTube. Y'all with me now. We think. Not with this. We analyze.
Threw it okay. What many teams overlooked when scouting Purdy, though, was his mind. Brock had great pocket presence and played well when under pressure. He also scored in the mid-90s on the S2 cognitive test, which tests how fast players can see, process, and fix problems on a laptop. For example, one part of the exam goes like this. A set of diamonds flashes on the screen for 16 milliseconds each. Every diamond is missing a point, and the player must determine which point of each diamond is missing. Anything above an 80 on the test is considered elite. Purdy scored in the mid-90s, which is around where top QBs like Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen all scored. Scoring high on the test just reaffirmed why Brock played so well under pressure. He was able to focus on one thing despite chaos surrounding him. He processed things extremely quick. Heading into the draft, Purdy was not projected to be selected, but signed as a free agent once the 7 rounds concluded. But as
roommate trivia. What do you call the space in a dorm where many students hang out?
Common.
the last pick in the draft approached, Brock got a call from the 49ers saying they were going to make him Mr. Irrelevant and select him 262nd overall. Heading into training camp his rookie year, Brock was actually the 4th QB on the depth chart, behind Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Nate Sudfeld. But after an impressive summer, the 49ers decided to cut Nate Sudfeld, and Purdy made the 53-man roster as the 3rd-string QB. The 3rd overall pick from the previous year, Trey Lance, started the year as San Francisco's starting quarterback. But after breaking his ankle in the 2nd game of the season, former starter Jimmy Garoppolo took over as the team's QB1, which meant Brock was now the backup. The 49ers were on a roll with their old starter under center. In the 10 games he played since taking over in week 2, the 49ers were 7-3 and looking like they could make a legit playoff run. However, in a week 13 matchup with the Dolphins, Garoppolo got sacked and broke his foot. It was now Purdy's time to step up. In his first real NFL action, Brock completed 67% of his passes for 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception, which
seizing the moment. Seize the moment, Purdy. Seize the moment, Purdy, huh?
Top Miami 33-17. After the game, it was confirmed that Garoppolo would be out for the remainder of the season, which meant Brock Purdy was now the 49ers starting quarterback for the rest of the year. Yes, it's definitely nice for a rookie quarterback to be surrounded by a lot of talented skill players. But to be thrust into the starting QB spot late in the season on a team that is expected to make a deep playoff run definitely isn't easy. Brock was slated to make his first NFL start the following week against who but the GOAT Tom Brady. Purdy played outstanding though, completing 76% of his passes for 185 yards and 3 total touchdowns. After this game is when many realized the 49ers might have something special in their rookie QB. Purdy and the team went on to win the remaining 4 games of the regular season and made the playoffs as the 2nd seed in the NFC. Purdy's 6th ever NFL start was also his first ever playoff start versus the 7 seed Seahawks. In that one, Brock put together yet another strong performance, completing 60% of his passes for 332 yards. That was the first time he broke the 300-yard mark in his career, by the way, and 4 total touchdowns as the 49ers went on to win 41-23. With this performance, Purdy became the first rookie quarterback since Sammy Baugh in 1937 to throw for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns in a playoff win. Next up was the 5 seed Dallas Cowboys in the divisional round. Purdy's play wasn't as great in this one, but he still was effective, completing 65% of his passes for 214 yards and no turnovers as the team won 19-13. I want to quickly thank the sponsor of today's video, Underdable. You guys signed up with this video. All they had to do was take down the #1 seed Eagles in the NFC Championship game. But in the first quarter, Purdy's arm got hit as he threw. When he tried to throw the ball after the hit, he simply couldn't. The ball barely moved a few yards. Clearly something was seriously wrong, so Brock was sidelined and replaced by backup Josh Johnson. But when he suffered a concussion in the third quarter, Purdy was forced back into the game despite being injured as the team didn't have another QB. After the 31...
Hey, honestly though, I strongly feel like that game could have turned tides if he never got that elbow injury. They were... that's just my speculation. That Jalen Hurts and Eagles squad was really good last year. Who knows?
7 loss, it was revealed Purdy had completely tore his UCL, a serious injury. Initially, it was thought he would have to undergo the extremely invasive Tommy John surgery, where a ligament is taken from a different part of the body and put into the elbow to fix the torn UCL. But luckily, after lots of tests and medical opinions, Purdy underwent the less complex UCL repair with internal brace augmentation surgery. The recovery time for this surgery is faster than Tommy John, and had Brock slated to return to football around the end of August instead of towards the back end of the 2023 regular season with Tommy John. After undergoing this surgery in March, Brock became just the 3rd NFL QB to undergo that specific surgery. It was really a fairly new procedure. Brock's rehab went according to plan, and by August 14th, he was back practicing.
Thank God for technological advances, 2023.
With no restrictions. Despite his return to practice, the QB1 spot was not automatically his. Trey Lance had also returned from his season-ending ankle injury and had all summer to practice and get extra reps with the team while Purdy was rehabbing. But when Lance took the field during preseason games, he looked lost and played poorly. So at the end of August, the 49ers traded Lance to the Cowboys, cementing Purdy as the team's QB1. The 49ers started the 2023 season hot, going 5-0, but in week 6, Purdy lost his first ever regular season game after the worst performance of his career thus far, completing 44% of his passes for 125 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 1 fumble versus the Browns. After that loss, the 49ers went on to lose their next 2 games too. Heading into their week 9 bye, some question...
Wasn't that when they lost Debo as well? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they lost Debo during that time.
Brock Purdy was even a good quarterback, or one just propped up by the coaches and skill players surrounding him. After the bye, the 49ers bounced back and won 6 straight games. During that win streak, Purdy completed 71% of his passes for 1,700 yards, 17 touchdowns, and just 2 interceptions, which put him in the MVP conversation. If the 49ers wanted to push their win streak to 7 straight, they would have to beat the red-hot Ravens on Christmas night. But just as the commentary on Brock had turned positive, he had the worst game of his career in prime time. Versus Baltimore, Purdy threw a career-high 4 interceptions and 0 touchdown passes as San Francisco lost in embarrassing fashion. With just 2 games left in the regular season, the negative commentary on Purdy was loud again. Brock did bounce back versus the Commanders the following week, but was sat along with the other starters for the final game of the season after already clinching the 1 seed. Even though there were questions about Purdy heading into the postseason and even during it, we all saw what the 49ers just did. They made it to the Super Bowl. Yes, Purdy has been called a system QB and straight up not a good QB by some, but right now, he has a chance to change the whole narrative about him with a win versus Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Nothing better than a good come-up story.